breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page lies, it's about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, and if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation Pride.
All right, we're back. It's a good song, yeah, Kathy. I got a dog. All right, man, holy cow! Oh, jeez, what a whirlwind. I feel like I don't even know what day it is. But we're back home. We made it home safe. Our impacts are minimal compared to so many others. And as you know, I'll probably at this point trying to struggle how to even talk about what's going on and what's happened, and try to break it all down and still talk about what's coming, because that's what most people are probably here for now. Oh, it's not Sunday. Is it Sunday? Somebody just said it's Sunday. What day is it today? Nobody's telling me the truth. Well, it's a weekend. No power in Somerville. Man, I know. So, golly. So, first off, welcome to the Daily Brew. This is Louie and Mike. Louie's the host. I'm the co-host. Coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida. We're going to talk about the tropics today. And they don't care. They don't give us a week off. And they're not going to give us a week off. I always talked about a backloaded system with this La Nina catching up and the waters are hot and all this stuff. We know that. I don't think I have to tell people now. It doesn't matter how many names we get in a season. If you're impacted by just one storm, it's enough for you. And we just saw that, and we're still seeing that, okay? So I'm sticking to it only takes one from here on out. Oh, man. So, yeah, Carolinas, everything. So many folks. So we do have something else brewing in the tropics. We're going to get into that. That's why I wanted to go live. I saw it while we were talking about Helene, but I've learned over the years when I start talking about a storm, when we're still dealing with a storm, it doesn't go over very good. So that's just the way I do it, and I know, I heard from so many people during this storm, and we got another one coming next week. Well, there might be something coming next week, but there's absolutely no way anybody knows where it's going, what it's going to be. We start things out. There's a pattern. Mother Nature repeats her patterns, and we might have another one coming next week, but who the heck? Texas to Florida to Mexico. Yeah, I said Mexico. Um, but I do want to start talking about it since we're a week away. So, Louie, you miss your daddy? Oh, big thanks to Shelly over in our Brew Crew and all the Brew Crewers for supporting me and being there for this trip. It was a very impactful trip for me. Started out a little rough, wrote it out. Bunch of stories you saw on the news. I was on CNN, I was on Fox, I was on 4 or 5 different networks. St. Mark's, down there, met some great folks, people. Went to Tallahassee, went to Monticello, up and down the coast, on the way home. Steenhatchee, Keaton Beach, Cedar Island, which is a city or a town. I don't know why showing a video of destruction, it turned into an argument that I called it something else when all the locals said, no, he's right. And I don't know why people worry about that when the context of the video is what's important, but whatever. You were wrong. Anyway, so let's talk about that a little bit, what's going on right now. So I didn't know how to even start today except to show you this, okay? This is the track of Helene, all right? Now, I spend days, nights, weekends, I dedicate 15 to 20 hours a day updating as storms progress, right? Try to cover all possibilities, try to cover all impacted areas, let you know what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, what I learned from experience. And I will say, I'll give myself a decent report card on this storm. Now, as the storm's happening, I am not a news station, okay? I can't cover Key West to Canada. I just can't. I mean, I get people mad at me. Why aren't you talking about this? Because there are so many people impacted by this storm. It's impossible for me to know, to give the time. There's only so many posts you can do in a day. This storm impacted millions, okay? I said that on Fox. I said it on CNN. Millions of people are going to be impacted by this storm, okay? Obviously, that's happening now. It happened yesterday. It happened, leading up. We had unbelievable surge, which I'm going to go back and reshare it because I had people calling me out that I was wrong, that I was hyping, irresponsible. I was like, we're going to see flooding that nobody's ever seen in the Tampa Bay area, ever, in your lifetime. And boy, I got hate on that. I'm like, now, all right? Where are those people now? Anyway, surge was unbelievable. It's still ongoing. I'm going to make a ride out to the Pinellas County. I emailed a couple of my contacts. Pinellas County Sheriff, anybody, y'all know me. I would love to get access to go out there and see it for myself, because of one thing really kind of hit hard for me was being so far away and knowing what was going on here in my hometown. But again, at night, surge, you can't even cover that stuff. You can't be in it. You can't show it. It's dark. So I knew what was going on, but I couldn't cover it. But I want to go there today if possible. So please reach out somehow. Mike's weatherpage, gmail.com. I know everybody's working hard. So we had surge. We had tornadoes through the state. We had confirmed tornadoes through the state of Florida initially. We had flooding. We had, obviously, landfall was tremendous. The only anger out there is that Tallahassee got the western side. It did. I mean, here's the track. I mean, it looks like it hit Tallahassee, but as always, the effects are always on the east side. Surge is a story of a lifetime. I measured 19 feet. Share a story. Now my text's going off. Maybe it's... I personally saw 19 foot. We measured it. I got videos from Jay down in... You just wouldn't believe the amount of people that were messaging me during this storm. But I physically measured Trey, if you're watching, my buddy I met. We had a very bonding experience. So let me tell you about Trey. So I was at the Sunoco station in Perry. Roof was off. I'm down to about a quarter tank of gas. No gas. There's no cell phones, no gas. This was yesterday morning. bunch of guys yelled at me, "Hey, Mike!" So I did a U-turn, came back, said hi. They were fans. They were fixing the roof, and then they found out, they're like, "Hey, we can get them to turn the pumps on for you." That was like a gift right there. So well, then Trey shows up and he tells me the story. And his mom I met in Lake City or Live Oak, one of the two. Live Oak. I apologize. I can't remember the two. Maybe she's watching. So he got me a pass. We went down to Keaton Beach. It was like I have never seen in my life, okay? When we got to Keaton Beach, I didn't get to ground zero when Ian hit. I mean, you see it on TV, you see it, but being there right as it happened just an hours before, my God. I mean, I can't even explain what I saw. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off. I mean, there's campers in trees. There's fish miles from the water. There's, the smell, the houses, the roofs floating. I mean, just pure chaos. Well, we went to his house, and he had one of the only houses standing left in Keaton Beach, and it was sideways. It's done. They're going to have to total it. And he had such a great spirit, and we measured, we had to go to his second floor. We measured a water line, 19 foot down to the ground. Well, it was 14 and a half, and then his 4.5 to the water line. But when we opened up the door, the refrigerator was like on the other side of the room, upside down. The couch was like on top of a bed. Flooring was up, floating around still. To think that water was that high, moving the refrigerator up, and when you open the door, the chaos that must have been inside his house during the surge. That was the water line. The waves are hitting, the building. This is just a mean water line that ends up, creeping in. The waves are on top of that. Crazy. So then the sad story was, the good story was he found a sand dollar. If he's watching, I said, keep that sand dollar because one day that'll be your memory of this day, and he did. And I could hear it in his voice. He's calling home and everything he's worked for, is gone. And you see all your neighbors' houses gone, and then his dad had a house at Cedar Island next door, and he wanted to go see it. So we drove over there, and it was a mess. I mean, getting there, and we pull into this community. I think they said there's 200 plus homes in there. A lot of them are rental homes, but this home in particular, it was his grandma's home. He grew up in that home, and he turned a corner, man, and it's gone. There's this stilts up, and I could see it. I crying now almost because gone. So that video that I did with these pillars coming out of the ground, those were houses on there. All right, those are people's memories. I mean, he grew up there. I met 8 or 9 homeowners that told me stories. Their homes have been there since forever. They've battered more hurricanes and new homes gone. And I mean, literally 10 were standing. So the power of the water, man. Crazy. And that was just one spot. I mean, but we tried to find his dad. He has 3 deer heads that he wanted, his dad, and we looked everywhere. I mean, he couldn't even find his roof. The search and rescue guys told me that they had roofs a mile or 2 into the Gulf of Mexico. It took everything out. When that surge came out, it took everything with it. And you see a debris field of just stuff. So, trying to explain that to people. I mean, you see that. I mean, there was a campground there. There was campers upside down. I mean, it's just the power of water, man. And then the trees, obviously, from the winds. I mean, it was a 140-mile-an-hour hurricane at least. I mean, the pressure was lower than Ian. So who knows? Who knows how fast the winds were? And this was all these little Horseshoe Beach, Cedar Key. I went to Steenhatchee, our friend Roy's. Oh, my God, the restaurant was gone. The bar across the street that had so much history, it was gone. The hotel with the second floor that I stayed at, it was gone, every second floor. So I took the video from the dock to show where the sea level was and how the heck that water reached the second floor of that place. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? So it's serious surge, man. And of course, I don't have to tell people. So the point of this line is, and then we had the rain. Oh my God, the Carolinas. I mean, I hope somebody out there will say that I stress more than anything. I said this on CNN and Fox both. I was more concerned about the impacts away from landfall. I said landfall is going to be bad. But the impacts away from landfall are going to be shocking to people. I said, and the inland flooding with double digits, I talked about so much, and I got people on X mad that I didn't cover it. I'm like, well, first off, I'm only human. I can't stay up 24 hours a day. I mean, leading up, man, I made very strong posts about, flash flooding in the mountains. And unfortunately, we saw that. And it's still ongoing. I saw a dam in Tennessee that's fixing to burst right now. The flooding comes during and then now after, as all that water has to come down these mountains, and it could be beautiful blue sky, and we're dealing with flooding. So that's going on in the mountains. Still, the cleanup, power outages. Oh my God, so many folks are dealing with this right now. So selfishly, there's idiots out there that are pissed because they didn't get infected. So they think it's a busted storm. Dude, come on. But anyway, that's my rant. So the point of the center line is this. I was like 5 minutes before I went live, I was like, what am I going to say? I didn't even plan on sharing that story. But and Trey, then he texted me today. People, I text Roy's, the owners of Roy's. They were so positive. I'm selfishly pissed because I got to go sweep up, tree debris. And at the same time, I'm thinking, I just saw houses and memories washed away. So put that in perspective. Like, what you might think is a major hurdle and impact on you right now, there's people that are dealing with 1,000,000 times worse than that. And that molds your life, is how you go forward, and give you a little extra drive inside you. There are people up there who are going to need help. I mean, their homes are gone, communities are gone, their work's gone. I mean, prime example, I met a couple out at Cedar Island that it was a vacation home, but they rent it, and they have a full-time employee that maintains that, and that person now has no job. So it's just, you hear stories. But this center line is just then we're going to get into tropics, I promise. This center line, this is what we focus on with hurricanes, right? And everybody on this storm turned into panic because they were watching this center line come towards Tampa for a brief moment. And that was all over the internet. It's coming to Tampa. It's coming to Tampa. It's coming to Tampa. It still came to Tampa. That's the point of this center line. It doesn't matter. Okay? This is not like a tornado that only deals with a certain path. This is, and this is, it really irks me more than ever that I got roped into this debate, east, west. It doesn't matter. It had absolutely no difference that this thing went 10, 15 miles more to the east. It did for Tallahassee, big time. But, it didn't matter. It was, I put the comment out there that it ticked west. Well, it ticked west from that east movement. People say, oh, you're just correcting yourself. No, at that moment, people were saying it's going east to Tampa. It's going east. I put a post out. We're going to watch this east, but we can't deny upper steering patterns. And that's what I said. And when it started to tick back west, it's not going west. People think west like Louisiana. I'm like, no, it's going back west. So, whatever, man. I know I can't read anything, but the anxiety up to the storm, it doesn't matter. So, you still were affected. We got, like I said, you're going to see surge in Tampa Bay area that nobody's ever seen before. Nobody believed me. I was panicking. I was posting 2-3 times a day. I had people say, why are you posting so much? We'll talk about it. I'm like, because I really don't think anybody knows the surge is coming. I was out telling people in Oldsmar. They're like, All right. So center line, there's a lot of effects outside the center line and east of center line. East of center line and Gulf storms tick east. That was the talking point 2 weeks ago. And look what happened. It ticked east. They always tug a little bit more east. All right, so what do we got cooking in tropics? I had the radar up. flash flooding going on in the Carolinas still. Can't talk about that enough. We still have a tail of Helene, believe it or not, coming up to Florida. Storms here, the wherever it's at, and it's still controlling the flow around. That's currently. So if you're wondering why you're getting rain here on the West Coast and through Florida and Jacksonville, that's because the tail of Helene continues. I didn't like this. I'll be honest with you. I knew everybody was talking about this storm, but again, I didn't want to talk about it while we had a major hurricane, history-making hurricane. But we have to talk about it now. So this came out. I don't know when they posted this, but anyway, I did not want to see this. 2 red areas in the Caribbean, not only this week coming up and then the following week coming up. So that means that the environmental conditions are there. The third week is an experimental model. I'm 99% sure, but it models the atmosphere and history and that. So it looks like we could have, a typical busy October when nobody else, fall in football. Mother Nature don't care, man. We've had some of our most impactful hurricanes in the months of October. I don't have to remind anybody that went through Michael or Wilma or Sandy for that matter. So there you go, unfortunately. Let's hope it's wrong. Today we got all this mess, all right? So I put Isaac and Joyce on the website, but they're, I had to update the website and the app, but if you don't see it on there, it's a fish storm. But I updated it, and we got a new area here. But this is what we're going to be talking about, okay? We're going to talk about this guy right here. Not an invest yet. It's not even there yet. When we have an X, it kind of means we have a center. When you don't see an X, it's a theoretical spot to watch down the road. But orange, I will agree with 100%. We got almost the exact same pattern that we just started with Helene, which is what we see in October. Water temperatures, I see a lot of discussion about this. So our 7-day water temperature change here on tropicaltidbits.com definitely shows that the surface temperature of water has cooled down, okay? But I got to stress, more than anything, this years of normal water temperatures have produced very powerful hurricanes. So when we have a deep ocean heat content this time of the year, it's not a newsworthy post to make people appear that it's impossible to have another strong storm. Okay, the water is still warm enough. This is just a 7-day change. It has cooled, but it was record hot. So if it cooled it back down to above average, it's still hot. So even if it cooled it down to average, we've had bad storms with average water temperatures. So it did cool it, but I'm cautious about putting your pom-poms up and think because of Helene, we're not going to get any more storms, because that's not going to happen. Erica, are you watching? Erica, I wanted to text you last night. I might come over there. Erica, can you call one of your cop buddies and let me get a pass to go to Pinellas County beaches? No, the skeleton's not coming up. We are still in a 12-foot skeleton hold pattern in Pinellas County. So don't let your guards down thinking that it's not going to happen again. Not to say this one will, but just the water temperatures are still hot. All right, so what does this mean? We're back to spaghetti models again. Oh my God, we were just doing this. Again, I like to be first. I like to talk about things first, but I learned over the years I had to hold back. I really do hold back. I heard everybody talking up there. Oh, we got another one coming next week. It's coming to Tampa. It's coming to here. It's coming. Well, height start. Oh, I know, Erica. I'll figure out a way. I always do. So anyway, here we go. These are ensembles for the next 7 days. All right. Very colorful map. Lot of lines. We what do we learn from the Euro? The Euro is always weak west, always late to the game. That's been 4 storms now. The Euro's been incorrect early on. The GFS has done pretty darn good this year. We saw that from day one. So when the GFS talks, we listen. When the Canadian model talks, we listen. The Icon is late to the game. The Euro is late to the game. This is how modeling works. That's how everybody thinks that I was so smart with Michael and so, with E and O. We just read models and trends. And when the professional meteorologists tell you, stay away from me, stay away from the models, we can't trust them, but then we can't give you a forecast because the models aren't any good, then we're all doing the same thing. I mean, if all we are model readers, then what are we? We have to inject some thoughts and opinions in history. Otherwise, we're just talking robots. I mean, AI can read a model one day and give us a weather forecast. That's kind of what the world's coming to. So, to me, when the GFS talks and CMC talks and history repeats itself, we listen. So, in October, all you got to do is say October. You listen, okay? Selfishly, we're going to Talladega, and I'm already thinking in my head, all right, what does that mean? I got to go to Talladega, but does that mean I come home early? It might mean that. All right, so this would be timestamps for next Saturday morning. This is 7 days out. I think today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But this is next Saturday morning. Every L is where the storm could be. So I'm evolving in my messaging too, because I just throw these out there some days never discuss it. And the good questions are, what do they mean? Well, the L is the end point, 7 days. So every one of those lines, that's where they think a future storm might be 7 days from now. Remember, weaker goes west historically, stronger goes northeast historically. So the GFS colors, oranges and reds and yellows, the stronger system gets pulled. Euro has a couple of them starting to turn. This clump right here, pay attention to that clump. We have a clump alert. Clump alert. And these are the guys you watch here. So I'm not ignoring it. Oh, all right, so these are ensembles. If we take the chalkboard and we erase the chalkboard, clear our minds, start fresh. If this was something in the beginning of the season, I'd be in posting mode every hour. So we can't have hurricane hangover after Helene. We want to put our heads in the sands and say, this ain't, it can't happen. It has happened. And I am one dirty SOB. I tell you what, I have to share this real quick. That mud up there, you got to see my truck. It is the dirtiest I've ever. I'm not going to clean it. I love it. I love my truck. But look, I took a picture of this in front of Roy's. Look at the side of that thing. Can you see it? Kind of see it? It's extremely dirty. Look at that. And then you'd be proud of me, Brew Crew. Years ago, Shelly made a list. I've been carrying around these rubber boots. So my buddy Trey, we get out in that war zone there in Steenhatchee, or that was a war zone, just as bad, in Keaton. And he's like, you probably shouldn't be wearing them flip flops. I was like, damn right. Look at this. You'd be proud of me. Look, that is Mike's feet. I did not wear flip flops in. That crap, there was crap everywhere, man. Nails, glass, fish. But anyway, how did I lead to that from this? I don't even know. More coffee. Oh, the dirt. Oh, I can't wait to take a shower. That's what I was getting at, because I looked down at my finger and it's pretty damn dirty. And I was talking about, I wanted to share. I didn't bring them all in, man. But I do have to share some stories here. Let me go get my bag. This means a lot to me. Hang on a minute. I get it. They're all on my truck. But so we're going to show individual models in 2 minutes, but I got to get a shout out to law enforcement. Okay, I had never dreamed in a million years that the Florida Highway Patrol would become such almost family to me. Like, when I say there was at least 20 to 24 Florida Highway Patrol that came up and talked to me to get pictures, share stories, pull me over, say hi, I was absolutely blown away. Like, crazy. I got a picture I'm going to share you. Let me tell you, there was no internet, there was no cell phone towers in this whole Big Bend area for 24 hours at least. Nobody could call home. Nobody could report. They had to report to DeSantis pictures, and they couldn't. MWP, we bailed them out. We had Starlink, and I got them hooked up, and they were all using it. So that was awesome. I felt, at least I had a part in the storm efforts because they were able to send signals to Tallahassee and get some stuff going. Even met some folks from Polk County, and I got a bunch of these things. But then a big dog, the CFO of Florida, came in, and I got a couple challenge coins, so that was pretty neat, man. I'll say all that for another day, but it was really cool, man. But I just want to thank all the law for coming by and saying hello, and Fort Fire and all y'all. You know who you are. All right, so let's look at these models. GFS. I never thought I'd be taking selfies with FHP. I told him, I'm like, you know, I had a Bo and Luke story one time. One time. Probably shouldn't say it, but you know what Bo and Luke used to do, right? They used to slide around dirt roads, and sometimes they'd take one and somehow park in a hidden spot, and somehow, you know, Roscoe would drive by and not see him. I was 18. Anyway. All right, so this is what let's look at the last 6 runs of the GFS. So what we're seeing here is this. I think this is a tropical wave that's coming across. We got this kind of Central American low. These pressures are remaining low from our gyre, and this is how it all begins. So we definitely have a tropical wave coming in that's going to try to start getting going somewhere here, and you know that's what we've been seeing all year. You know, Debbie, that flow pattern is kind of what we've been seeing. So we're going to keep our eye right there. Almost the same way that we just saw, and we're to see. I haven't even looked at these yet. 6Z. Here's what's the date today? 29th. Yeah, it's still early. Right here. So it pops it out here. This is Tuesday, Wednesday. This one pulls north. Typical talking point. If it gets strong, it might be able to pull up into that Yucatan Gap. That's the Caymans. You know, that's already developed tropical storm 998. I will say. You talk about deja vu all over again. 990 in the Yucatan Gap on Thursday. $988. And there we go. Right to Talladega, Alabama. So maybe I ain't got to go anywhere. Maybe Mother Nature's playing tricks on me. Talladega might be dealing with a damn storm for the NASCAR race. Anyway, all right, so the only good news is there's no good news with this run. I'll tell you right now. We don't look at intensity. We can we agree on that? Intensity early on is never correct. So we look at early on, you look at steering patterns and seeds and trends. The intensity comes after that. And unfortunately, we know storms usually get stronger more than what these operational models show. Unless we have shear involved, and you know, but this time of year the weather's stable. We have here this is me thinking. This is, you know, we talked about the hurricane heat. Look at this. This more than anything, look at this. You know how my brain thinks. Hurricane heat 9:30, 10:1. What does that mean? What? That's hot. That means high pressure. That means it's stabilizing the Gulf. It's clearing out wind shear. That means we're going to have an approaching front to the north that eventually could pull something up and then help ventilate a new system. So hurricane heat is never good, and we could be looking at hurricane heat on something developing again. So I saw that today, and I'm like, oh, there ain't nobody else in the country that probably looks at things like that. All right, so there's the GFS. Timing here would be next Saturday. And it says 987. Again, don't get worked up on the individual model runs and locations. So I don't like how we have a hurricane like Helene. There's so much hype about the next one. At the time that we're having one now, and a lot of people are like, yeah, we got one coming up here next weekend. There probably was one model run that showed that, but we're going to see this until we really get an established we don't even have a system yet, but that doesn't mean anything. We still have upper patterns, but they wiggle, they wobble. Fronts are stronger, weaker, this, that. But the fact is we got consistency on a low pressure area brewing up midweek. All right, so that was 6Z. Let's see what the OZ run was. 1004. Hey, by the way, I'm wearing my Maureen's hat. Brian, are you watching? We tried to connect. I did call you yesterday, buddy. Maureen's is out of Texas. They're doing disaster restoration. Don't forget Progressive Tree Care. They're up there from Pinellas County helping folks out with their trees. If you need any tree removal, they're up there right now helping people too. A lot of people helping people. 00Z 997. Oh boy. We've seen that turn before. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. All right. Well, damn it. My head was in the sand about 4 days ago, to tell you the truth. All right. The good thing is, if there is a good thing, our brains are in hurricane mode, so I don't have to raise the red flag if I have to. People are going to listen a little more this time. But anyway, there's that. This is Wednesday, and this is Saturday, and heading right up to see me in Alabama. Right smack dab at Talladega on Sunday. What the hell's going on with that? Mother Nature's being tricky. All right, that was 00Z. Let's see what's cooking on the 18Z. There's some Met out there right now. Don't show individual bottle runs. All right. Same pattern. I mean, you don't know where it's going. This is next Friday. Saturday. That was the last couple big runs. That's the last 4 runs. I mean, we can do one more run, but that's pretty damn consistent in my book. For the GFS anyway. Yeah, see, there was that pattern from yesterday, but now it's kind of gone away from that. That's that weird West European, doesn't make sense, doesn't happen run for October. So that's where we throw those out. All right, so the last 4 GFS, something brewing in the Yucatan, hits the Yucatan Gap. We've seen that script before. The only good news is, of course, the water will be a little cooler. It's not going to stop it from becoming anything it wants to become. It's just, it is a little cooler, a little cooler. But, all right. Latest Euro AI. Now, we know this is a pretty good model initially. It's kind of sniffs things out. These are all on tropicaltidbits.com. Here's Wednesday. This one's been a little weaker west. That's kind of what it did with the last few storms. And it does, well, it tries to. There's Sunday. So it's a weak low pressure Sunday. See, that would be very minimal. But again, what's important to me on this is the pattern. To me, more than anything, is the pattern. Yesterday's 18Z. Here's Monday. Low pressure coming up. Hitting that Yucatan Gap. And this kind of hangs out a little bit. This is Sunday. You can just get the feeling. Doesn't really organize it, which is good news. Of course, I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not a hurricane cheerleader. Trust me. If you think I am, we'll probably block you. And if you argue with me again about a name of a town that just got destroyed, and that's the only thing you're worried about, you're probably going to get blocked. I don't care anymore. Hey, that's just selfish. And then you're wrong. That's even worse. All right, here's Friday of next week. And it just lingers. So, hey, if you're, maybe that could happen. But the pattern is the same. The pattern's there. Like I said, we can't really predict anything intensity-wise. We're looking at patterns right now. And I see that pattern, All right, let's look at the Canadian. To me, the Canadian, the last 3 years, has been phenomenal, sniffing things out. Let's see what it says overnight. I'm hoping it's wrong. I hope there's nothing. This is later. Kind of later. Not really later. Here's Thursday. It's not later. Well, what do you think about that? That's a lot of support. All right. All right. Yeah, that was overnight. Yesterday's 12Z. Canadian. This is for Wednesday. God darn it. Jeez. the longtime followers this year also know I've been really. This is Wednesday. This is next Sunday. A long way away. Still 10 days. But this is 10 days on this run. This is yesterday's run. Or this is a couple days ago run. So Canadian's real consistent. This season I slowed down on long range predictions just because the models were doing so bad early season, but now I'm starting to think they're figuring things out a little better. I'm going to get a shirt. I'm a model reader too. And there's rumors of another one after that. I'm not even going to get into anything past what we could be dealing with. All right. This is Sunday next week. All right. So my selfish brain now is going into Talladega mode and say, okay, I should have just left my truck up in the upper Gulf Coast. Maybe I can tag it behind. It's a four-wheel drive. Could I pull it? I could rent a truck. I could just find a campground for the girls. I can rent a truck. All right. Other models on Tropical Tidbits. Icon I'm losing my love with initially. I used to love the Icon, but it's consistent. Low pressure here Monday, Tuesday, and middle week, Wednesday. So, yeah, we definitely got stuff to talk about. Mother Nature is funny like that. Okay, there you go. Hope that made sense. So, what does this all mean, Mike? We have a legitimate chance to watch something this week in the tropics that could move up to the Gulf Coast the following weekend. Historically says upper Gulf East. We see a front coming into play. Can I just repeat last week's broadcast? Put them on replay mode, maybe. Let's do that. Like the first 3 days, we're just going to hit replay. So, when does it get named? I'm going to read comments now since we're not in a stressful mode. It took me a while to wake up. Now I'm feeling human again. Oh, that's cool, Shelly. A little good news. That makes me happy. Oh my God. I just got a picture. Erica just sent me a picture. Crystal Beach. Yeah, man, it's terrible. The Dunedin marinas. I mean, I just can't believe the damages up and down our coast. Well, I can. I just can't believe so many people are affected. All right. Live oak. That was the flooding. Cedar Key's bad. Cedar Island's bad. I think Horseshoe Beach is... Dams are broken in Tennessee. Yeah, I know, Tara. I was watching that this morning. North Carolina, too. That flash flooding. Stephanie Stokes, I could just drop it in Panama. See, if I could get Julie to drive the damn RV, I'd drive by. Julie! Oh, she can drive the truck! But then how'd she get home? Julie! Never mind. She's annoyed with me. Nothing! Women get annoyed so easy. Let's see. 3. Yep. Let's see, Gabby. I know, Elaine Foley. I know. Again, so many affected by those flash floods. John's Pass is bad, Sherry Brown. I know, yeah. Dylan Hubbard sent me pictures. We were talking beforehand. We were both equally concerned about these predictions that we saw. Bare Necessities Homestead, thank you. David, I would love to collaborate with Paul and a local meteorologist on that. I believe it. I've learned a lot with storm surge. I think I can. I really don't think the folks at Roy's would be mad at me, but Thursday they texted me and said, how bad is this really going to be? And I said, I'm very worried about these surge values for you. And I had somebody yesterday tell me that I stopped at Steenhatchee, and while I was there, 5 or 6 people came by to say hi. They recognized me, but they knew. I knew. I was worried. The east side of storm surge is so much more powerful than the west side of storm surge. St. Mark's got their surge. Unfortunately, there was buildings with water, and comes in slow, leaves slow. But wind-driven surge is so much different. You got waves on top of that surge. The surge is there. It's the waves that make it 10 times worse. It's the wind and the waves that are added to surge. So I think there needs to be a surge intensity value. Like 10 to 15 center to the west is a level 1 impact surge, and level 2 to level 3 impact surge, because when that surge comes in on the east side, and it's always well east of center. Think about Ian. It came up the gut there by Fort Myers there, right? Cape Coral, but the surge was on the backside, east side, right? That came in around the eye. And the bigger the eye, the surge is going to be following that. So the surge is always very tricky, but it's very active on the west side. And the bigger the eye, the more west it goes. Kenny Carter about the GFS. Yeah, so the important thing about the GFS, the patterns there, Upper Gulf, East, I mean, it sounds so silly, but to me the pattern is there enough to take note. Nobody should be worried about something that's not even there yet, okay? There's absolutely a lot of panic. After every storm, we get a lot of panic after the last storm, and rightfully so. Everybody should always be worried about a potentially next system, but the important thing is to be aware that it's there. Be aware it's there, but we cannot get trapped into individual runs. We can't get trapped in it. It's only going to be because nobody knows what it's going to be, and we can't get trapped to specific locations. I believe raising the alarm on the general area at this point is a good thing to do because the pattern is there, and there's a lot of model support showing that. Let's see what the old KMA says. For some reason, this model is right 2 out of 3 times. What do you think about the old KMA, huh? The pattern. They read weather patterns. A little farther west. It trended a little west, too. Again, remember a couple of runs it did with Helene into Texas, but it did the pattern run. So, to me, the number one thing that's noteworthy is they're all reading the same pattern in the atmosphere. See? Then the other one, it goes south. So we're just going to hit the replay button from Helene for like the next 3 days because almost everything we talked about with Helene is going to come true with this thing. As far as a weird run here, a weird run there. Don't get wrapped up in the runs there when the majority are over here. And, let's look at some ensemble runs, individual ensemble runs. The Euro is probably weaker west. Then we'll start to get some little stronger ones that will go more north and more northeast. So here's next 7 days. You can see kind of a weak drift, and then we start to get them turning and pulling up. And we get a little stronger ones in the red. The GF, the only thing we can learn from the Euro at this point is that pattern. The and this is repeat from last week. Stronger system northeast, weaker system west. And at this point, history says, even though all these red lines are pointing towards the upper Gulf, everybody else should be more worried because they usually wiggle a little more, but that's a strong pattern. Let's see what the Canadian ensembles show on Tropical Tidbits. So that's, some pretty strong support on the Canadian model. Stronger system splits the gap, pulls up, eventually heads off northeast. Yeah, all right. Well, I had to do a little 90-second video to an update. Oh my god. I gotta get back in reset mode. I gotta take a shower though. That damn mud up there is the dirtiest thing ever. Taylor, that is not true. We've had many. I started the season, I was doing a lot of hurricane history. I can't find it on here, but there's several instances where storms took the exact path. One in particular, 2004, Gina Francis hit almost the exact same spot. Again, we don't focus on that line, but there was a storm in Wilmington. What was that storm? Folks in North Carolina, what was it in Wilmington? We had two back-to-back one year. You could argue Louisiana one year in 2022. We had Laura and Delta, and I'm a little muddy, buddy. Laura Pierce, correct. Lots of impacts for more than just that center line. So, Kenny Carter, good point. So yeah, a lot of people like these. These aren't tropical tidbits. These are more center points that kind of show you direction. The spaghetti models follow these little lines, history. So your brain kind of can see the same thing. Some like it this way, some like it the other way. You say tomato, I say tomato. But Taylor Marie, good question. But there have been storms that have done that. Christopher Cranker, always more storms in October. Season is never over. October has had some of the worst hurricanes we've ever had. Elena, we can look at steering pressure. I'd love to do that with you. Thanks for the question. Water charts are slowly updating. Yes, the 7-day water change is very clear here on my chart. Tropical Tidbits has it. That's a 7-day change. Sea surface temperature, unfortunately, might take a little bit to catch up, but the ocean heat content is not going to have much impact. The ocean heat content is the water below the surface, and it'll still be hot, especially in that Caribbean. So that's why I started to show by not getting too wrapped up with water temperatures, because that gives a false sense that nothing's going to happen. In reality, years that have had normal water temperatures had back-to-back storms, and we don't have normal water temperatures right now. We have above water temperatures, so they cool a little bit, but the potential's still there for whatever. But we do have a front coming down. They're all picking up on it. This is the year of the fronts. Here's your gap next Sunday, Monday. There's that split in the gap. This would be whatever's up here would get lifted towards that. That's the latest. This is a GFS ensemble plot, so it's not a specific. If you want to go specifically, you'll see more signatures of this front. But system front pushing this high out gets attracted. Euro is, building a higher ridge, they call that, which makes a little more west motion. But that's kind of what it's been doing all year. A little higher, a little west, a little weaker. Canadian actually read pretty good. There's a little gap. So just a little gap right there. Just enough that it finds that weakness and pulls up. So we have that hurricane heat building in this week here across the southeast. That'll drive anything up around this high pressure system that's over Florida. This week coming up, anything will try to round that ridge, and then the timing of anything else coming will allow some sort of a gap and a turn. Like I said, we're already showing hurricane heat, showing right here unofficially. Should be called hurricane heat, not hazardous heat. We have hurricane heat coming. All right, but let's not take away the effects that are going on currently still. We got some tremendous flooding going on up in the Carolinas and Tennessee, and dams are now starting to feel that water. We, saw some dams this morning possibly breach. Just trying to get the latest. I got a couple good links here. What's Now Coast? This is a good website. I hardly ever use it. But Now Coast kind of tells you what's going on now. And these are all your flooding going on currently in this area. I believe that's a flash flood emergency, flash flood warning around the Asheville area to the east. But this is all happening. You can click on each one and get an idea. But this is the whole general area that's just seen a tremendous amount of rain. I did the rain map earlier today, just showing you the totals. If you want to see where that's at, go to MRMS radar, and you can go down here and click 72 hour. We can zoom in, and you can really see these big numbers up here in the mountains. I mean, that is scary rain. Double digit rain, man. Anytime you get double digit rain in the mountains, you're gonna have flash flooding. It just magnifies the rain. We even got some spots showing possible 24 inches of rain, 2 feet of rain possibly. This is all around the Asheville area, just east of Asheville, down to the Atlanta or Georgia line there, South Carolina. So that's a serious amount of rain. What was it, Chimney Rock, I believe? One of the towns. So definitely a sad story up there. All these towns, tourist towns. Well, people live there too, but everybody's always been to these towns. A lot of history. So that's ongoing. Cleanup's ongoing. Listen, again, it's I can't. I would love to cover everything, and I try to cover things leading up. But I mean, news-wise, I can only cover what I was involved with at the moment, and there is so many stories of recovery right now. Millions of people are affected right now. Power outages, Furman power outage map here. Still got close to almost 3 million still without power. Florida, Carolina, Georgia, and South Carolina. This is, and then look at up north even still. I mean, that's a lot of folks, man. Over 100,000 people. Ohio, Kentucky. This thing stalled out and brought a lot of nasty weather as it spiraled and spun around. So every one of these great states here on the Furman map, over 100,000 people without power. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 states with at least 100,000 people without power. Now, linemen are awesome. But there's only so many. I don't know if we've had a storm spread out this far, this many states. So there's probably going to be prolonged power outages because it's just so many people spread out that have to be, helped with repair. And what I saw more poles down in Florida than I've ever seen snapped in half. You're dodging power poles. They're everywhere. When I drove on Interstate 10, I'd never seen more trees down in all my life. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. I had never seen so many trees down. And I even was part of the process here. Let me see if I can find it here. I physically carried about 50. So the guys that were doing it, we were stuck. And I ended up helping. So there we are. There's me. That's me walking I gotta work on my walk. It's hard walking in flip-flops. But this is what we took. I did a drone video So we cleared probably 50 to 100 trees. I am not exaggerating, on Interstate 10. This was just outside of Tallahassee. I mean, literally, there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trees down. You clean one mess up, you go to another mess. There's another mess. There's me getting out of the truck. So every tree, I would move my truck, point my truck so we could see. I had the only lights. That was a big tree right there, man. Holy crap. They were massive. And then when I left, trying to get back, it was even worse. Oh, I'm out. Oh, why am I out of my... Oh, that guy. He got stuck. I helped this guy get out of a ditch. So when I got off the interstate, so I got off the interstate here. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to head down to Perry. So I was like, we might be all right. So I get off the exit. I'm like, I wonder how long it's going to be before we see a tree.
I can always turn around.
So I'm like, yeah, not bad.
I told some guys I'd show up down in Perry because I know
This is about 3 in the morning.
Work in the EOC.
I was feeling encouraged. Like,
We'll get a really good sense here because if it doesn't work out, I can turn around.
So I'm getting off the interstate.
I have a feeling that we ain't gonna go very far. Jeez. Nope.
First tree.
What'd I tell you?
So, holy crap. Well, then there was a guy that tried to go around it. He got stuck in a ditch, and it turned out he was a fan. It was funny. So we got him out.
More trees.
It was an adventure, man. Then I ended up going to Monticello because I love that little town. But anyway, that was the craziest thing I ever saw was the trees in Tallahassee or east of Tallahassee that were down. God, everywhere you look, man, it was just like it was impossible. And then the FHP, I found out, has a tree removal team. So in the morning, about 5 in the morning, when I was heading back to Tallahassee, there was teams of 4 or 5 FHP. Man, they were clearing that Interstate 10 faster than I could see. They'd go pack to pack, tree to pack to pack. It was awesome. But one thing I learned is I could not even imagine driving Interstate 10 during that hurricane. The way these trees were popping down. It was like literally every 15 foot, there's a tree crossing the interstate. So, be safe out there. Oh, we got people talking politics. Oh, that's nice. Brian, hey buddy, my house today. I tell you what, this is the most tree limbs and trees debris we've had in a long ever. In fact, I got to go fix some crap in the back porch. Julie left a huge pile of trees down. I mean, we had a lot. For not, you know. So, yeah, it was coastal impactful for sure. But we had, I mean, I judged storms here in Oldsmar based, in our surge in Oldsmar, man, we had a lot of people flooded. I almost wanted to go out there with the PA system before I left and let people know, but that's, you know. But, yeah, I always judge a store by the amount of debris in our yard, and we had a lot of debris. A lot of trees down. A lot of tree limbs down. Northern waters, the rivers, Bonnie, great question. So the Florida rivers are almost crest now, so it's a slow after effect of tropical systems. These rivers in the mountains probably, you know, obviously go off to the Atlantic. That's always a concern for Florida is the 3, 4, 5, 6 days after. Now you can go to these river maps here. I got a link on my site right here. And they'll show you expected crests of rivers this next week. Obviously, purple's bad. That's where all the flooding's going on in the Carolinas, in the mountains. Just for example, though, like what is that moving around? What is that right there? I got a reflection or something. You should be able to click on there, but it's not working. What's going on? It's got to load. It's a big site. There we go. There we go. See, like this is slop choppy, and see how it's sop choppy. I just wanted to pick one. Yeah, it just shows you where it's going to crest and where it's going to go. Major's 34 foot. It's going to reach almost record here, but you can do that for all these rivers. You just kind of go around where you want to look at. Obviously, they kind of adjust in real time based on the current situations. Purple's bad. Purple's major flooding. Broad River, North Carolina, just for example. Could reach record stage. Broad River, North Carolina, South Carolina near Blacksburg. Look at that, 25.6 expected. It's going to come down quick, so these aren't going to hover. These are actually today numbers, so that's kind of where it's at. But it looks like it's already over record stage. So this is why we're having these problems, all these little rivers and stuff. So anyway, that's a good tool to practice around. So thank you, Kerry and Mason. Tampa Bay bridges, hard to tell, man. They have to investigate the bridges, man. Can you imagine Tampa Bay if we got hit with a storm? So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. I'd like to do one tomorrow, Shelly. So we'll coordinate it. We'll do something tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I usually announce it right here on my website, by the way, up top. If you're ever curious when our next daily brew is, I put it right here. Thank you for all the new app subscribers. Mike's Weather Page is you can subscribe $2 a month. I know it costs money, but it costs a lot of money. I pay a lot of money for a full-time crew there that is there if I need them. So that's a part of it. But there is a free version on it. You can still see the website on it. And a part of the money is oh my God, the downloads. But anyway, Mike's Weather Page, it helps a lot of folks. App, especially when there's low bandwidth and you need stuff. So, all right, so we'll announce tomorrow what time we're live. I gotta go to the bathroom. The other byproduct of not sleeping for 48 hours, you kind of get all messed up. All right. Well, have a good Saturday if you weren't affected by the storm, and just realize there's millions of people right now dealing with this, and it's. If you're not, be thankful, but just know there's others that are. And it's life-changing. Total life-changing. And just be thankful it wasn't you. But seeing the spirits of these folks that were is inspiring, and it always is inspiring. And there's always people there to help. I tell that story to everybody. As bad as these might seem, there is an army of people coming to help. And there is people have good hearts. So you can always count on communities coming together. When I was at Roy's yesterday, there were so many people showing up just there. Like they just wanted to be there and connect. And they felt the same pain, We all share the same pain. But until you see it, until you feel it, you just don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, the one thing that's changed me is seeing it firsthand and reporting on it is one thing, but seeing it is another. Pictures don't do justice, and videos don't do justice. I do have some drone video I'm going to put up. I wasn't able to upload it on my mobile setup. I did it on X, but I'm going to put it on Facebook here in a minute that shows some of the damages, and it's very high resolution. So if you got a PC, play it. It's eye-opening, very eye-opening. So I'll put that on here in a little bit. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming along and supporting the page. Met so many people this week. So many people follow us. This is incredible. I gotta quit worrying about the one or two assholes. But I won't. See you guys tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna shave too. Holy crap. So one thing I forgot to